That was a pretty fabulous experience, and this is entertainment redefined, and we only have Audible, the world's leading seller and producer in spoken word entertainment, to thank. What you've just heard is an excerpt from Power of the Spoken Word and the Power of the Digital Medium. Please join me in welcoming on stage Donald Katz, founder and CEO, Audible.
Well, hello everyone, and thank you for coming. It's an honor to be here. So for years I was asked why so many millions of people around the world are listening to Audible as they are right now, millions of people. And I would simply say, who wouldn't want Colin Firth or Kate Winslet or Nicole Kidman or Scarlett Johansson to tell them a story while they're driving to work or exercising or doing things around the house? And now I could say, who wouldn't want Radhika or Kalki or Raj to tell them a story, particularly during a time of the day when their eyes are busy, but their ears and their minds are free to experience the music and language and the power of well-composed words that are artfully performed by great actors, as you just heard. A recent study of the neuronal responses in the brain that was done actually at the University of London, Kalki's alma mater, and mine, although a few years earlier than her. The University of London study showed that the seductive intimacy of listening to Audible and the emotive power of listening, it actually exceeds the power of film on a neurological level. And actually, we weren't surprised. So today, we formally bring Audible service to India. And I say formally because we've had so many, tens of thousands of Indian listeners for years who are paying up to $15 US to listen, and now they can pay the equivalent of less than $3 here in India. So for me, this is a day that's been a long time coming and really a dream come true. In the spirit of a dream coming true, it was back in 1994, I was still an author and a journalist for more than 20 years, and I was also someone who loved and actually studied the sound of words. It was then that I began to tell people, I was writing a technology column at the time, that people, this is 1994, mind you, that people would be walking around with little solid-state devices in their pockets, which would be packed with the best of civilization's offering. And to say that people thought I was pretty crazy at the time would be an understatement. It was a long time ago. But anyways, I left the writing life, and now it's been 21 years since Audible invented and commercialized the first digital audio player and the first audio delivery service. And this was 5 years before the iconic iPod came out from Apple. We've continued as a company to invent technology as we worked hard to push the spoken word into the media mainstream alongside film and television and music and books. I have read that Indians actually spend more time reading than any other population, but I also know Mumbai traffic makes it pretty hard to read in a car. People who listen to Audible all over the world now, they get to work smarter than their colleagues in the next cubicle. They tell us they're more enlightened because of the quality of the wellness programming and the spiritual programming that we carry. They say they're more interesting at the dinner table and even on dates. And they tell us that their children have become more fluent learners because of Audible. And they say they're less lonely and they're actually happier too. So one thing we always do when we introduce our new service in a new country, and this is our 9th localized service, and we have programming in more than 40 languages, is to study and engage the cultural traditions of storytelling, the literature, and the performing arts in any country, and to combine this with our cutting-edge delivery mechanisms. Thus, you will find at Audible, when it opens later today, the great Tagore's work, Amish's myths, Ruskin Bond's autobiography, as well as his stories. And you'll find Salman Rushdie's 1981 novel, Midnight's Children. Actually got to introduce Salman at an event in New York the other night. Their titles are among more than 200,000 Audible books and other original programs that will be available here in India at launch. Over this last 5 years, we've worked and directly employed 20,000 different actors at Audible, because Audible really exists to connect the best writers and the best actors, the best editors, the best directors, the best producers, to the best listeners in the world. And we work daily to support the professional creative class. And we'll do that here in India and anywhere else that we launch. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And now back to Anupama.
Don, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please join us on the panel. So I'm super excited to be sitting here with all of you. I want to spend the next few minutes talking about, of course, your experience with making this audio book and on your plans for what is going to happen now in India with Audible. Kalki, let's start with you. Tell me what was challenging and what was exciting that brought you on to this project.
Am I audible? Yeah. I think I had already read Mafia Queens of Mumbai a few years back. The foreword had been written by Vishal Bhardwaj, and it caught my eye, and I really liked the book, so that was exciting. B, I think that as an actor, it's wonderful to use your voice and play with the nuances, and I think audio really allows for that, to really play on the different voices and telling a story. And yeah, I think that's enough, no? A and B.
Radhika, what about you?
No, I agree with Kalki, but I also feel that as a child, I was brought up with a lot of storytelling. I think storytelling is a part of our culture, a very big part of our culture. And I remember listening to those cassettes of Pula Deshpande reading his own books. And there was another tape I remember called Chan Chan Goshti. In Marathi, it means good tales. And so he was always there, and I think I lost that for a long time. And then I got to know about Audible, and I I heard a book on Audible very recently when actually they got in touch. So I thought it was just the perfect thing to do. And I hadn't explored expressing through voice only, because on a video or stage, whatever, you have so many other things to enhance or support what you're trying to communicate, but here you just have your voice, and so how you want to pitch it, and what is the tonal quality, or how you want to direct the imagination of the listener. And also it's personal, because everyone's going to listen to it individually, so it's like a personal relationship, I think, when it feels like that. And also in the studio, when you're silently doing that, it feels like a very personal thing. So I thought I'll enjoy it, and I did.
We know that the three of you are amazing actors, right? But here, when you have only your voice, what techniques do you use to bring alive a book like this? What did you do, Raj? Was it intimidating at all?
I thought it would be pretty smooth, but it wasn't actually.
You went in thinking, aasan hoga.
I thought I just had to go and narrate a story and read out a story. But I think it was a bit challenging as well, because you have to, of course, narrate a story and also keep it engaging and entertaining for the listeners, and also to modulate voice. Like in one of my stories, which is Sapna Didi, I'm playing Sapna Didi as well. Like otherwise, I could have never played Sapna Didi for films. I think that's the fun of Audible, being part of Audible, that you could play as actors. You got to play so many characters in just one story. And also just the idea, I was really excited that I had to do a solo performance where I could only use my voice and modulate everything through my voice. Also, I just thought it would be great to explore this idea. But I think all of us, we had a lot of fun, recording all these amazing stories.
How do you know when it's not going well?
How do we know?
When it's just voice, how can you tell?
No, we had amazing people who were guiding us, and also you could hear it. You could hear it. You could hear it. You could listen to your takes and then figure out if it's working or not. If it has that kind of impact or not that you wanted to create.
And also when you get a pronunciation wrong 8 times, Mahalakshmi Pappamani, it takes you a while. Now I can say it really well, Mahalakshmi Pappamani. But in the beginning I was saying Papa Mani and all sorts of things, so yeah.
Don, Audible has, of course, collaborated with some of the greatest actors in the world. What is your impression of what our actors have done?
it's been fantastic to talk to them today about, what they saw, that they did see that there's a complexity to it. I told them what many actors tell us, that it's like long distance running as opposed to movies, which are more like sprinting, because the intensity of the short shots, the intensity of the close-ups. But one of the things is that some of the actors we hired, they loved the control it gave them without too much direction. And then I have to say a lot of them also loved the fact that I learned this when I found Susan Sarandon in our studios in the East, and she was apparently wearing pajamas. And she came on, basically said to me, "No hair and makeup. It's such a gift to be able to just do it in a casual way." And the reality is too that you can fit this in. The commitment levels to stars like these is a very intense schedule. You can fit this in a couple of days and have another creative platform. But that's, I think, what we'll find, which we've found, is the actors now are coming to us in droves. It's, never forget when Annette Bening basically kind of attacked me at an event saying, "Everyone in Hollywood's working for you but me, what's wrong with me?" And I said, "Well, you can actually do it too." So she was in the studio the next week. And I think when it gets going in India, it's such a particular art form and a particular kind of storytelling tradition that the most creative people in any culture will come to it. But that's what happens with technology when new things happen. The invention of television, the invention of radio, they often call them golden ages, and we're experiencing this globally now.
Did you guys enjoy that? No hair and makeup?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I think one day I came in after a jog, like fully sweaty and everything, and went straight in, which was great.
Yeah, actually once I went cycling. Yeah, my driver was not there and the car was not there, and I thought, let me just cycle. Yeah.
So was there an excerpt or one story from Mafia Queens that really appealed to you, for any of you?
Yes. Is this working? Yeah, now it's working. There's Gangubai's story that really appealed to me. That's one of the stories I read. Mostly because I think that time in Mumbai, it's my home now, and I'm not really aware of how it would have been. And I think all the mafia stories that I've seen so far are predominantly about men, and women just sort of have the secondary position. But these stories are about women. And Gangubai especially, I think she was a victim of, you name it. Betrayed, made into a prostitute, she had to do blah, blah, blah. And she just did not victimize herself, and she stood shoulder to shoulder with all the dons and made her voice heard to literally the people governing the country. And it's such an inspiring story, and a very compassionate woman. So it was fascinating reading her story, I think.